This is Gigi Sabat, and you're listening to the Walk With Me podcast. My guest today is Christina, and she is a fitness expert. Welcome to the show, Christina.
Thank you, Gigi, for having me. This is going to be fun today.
Likewise, I agree. It's such an honor to be here with you today. Now, why don't you start off by telling us more about you, and where are you from, Christina?
Wow. Well, I'm from Philadelphia originally, born and raised, and then spent a good portion of my young childhood and middle school ages and high school ages in New Jersey. And now I live in Miami Beach.
I love it. Now, Christina, can you tell us a little bit more about what inspired you to become a fitness expert? And also, what are some of the challenges that you faced along the way?
Wow. I would see my mother with all of the 80s programs. Richard Simmons, Do It With Debbie, Deal a Meal, Nutrisystem, all that stuff. And my mom never actually was skinny. So I grew up in this time period of the 80s and 90s, and I was a city kid. I was never the kid that was pushed to do physical things. So it didn't come from my family. And I think as I started to just kind of play around with her stuff in the 80s as a kid, I started to think about it. And then in high school is when I really started training because I was not that good at tennis and I was very weak. So my first self-coaching was going to the library and Googling, well, we didn't have Google back then, but searching with the old school 1970s black and white books, how to train for tennis and be strong. And then it snowballed from there. I got into athletic performance. And now that I'm more in the public sector of my business rather than being at a college institution doing sports performance coaching, it's more on the fitness side of things. It's more holistic for normal people like you and me to achieve their goals. And the biggest challenge I feel I've faced is trying to share legitimate knowledge, which isn't sexy, it's not quick fixes, and competing against the bravo, beautiful marketing of promises that are actually not true, or the results that people like to advertise without the asterisks of, but here's the real deal to achieve that. So I would say fitness gimmicks are the biggest frustration in trying to really teach people the right way to do things. And like anything great, it's going to take time.
That's true. What message do you have for someone who may be listening in and may be facing a fitness challenge today?
You know, I'm thinking of that person. The person I have in my mind when I'm thinking of this is the person who's new, the person who feels frustrated, the person who feels embarrassed. And the message that I have to that person is you're courageous for starting. And wherever you start, it's only upside from there. So the message in short is just keep going, seek out knowledge, don't be embarrassed, as hard as that is to physically do, and easier said than done. Dig deep within yourself to have the self-confidence to show up every day, regardless of what you think people are saying, regardless of what you think they're thinking, regardless of how hard it is. Just know that you're doing great things and that you will see changes with time and consistency.
I love it. Now, what if someone feels comfortable in their comfort zone and they really are afraid to get out of their comfort zone?
Well, if you're already in a comfort zone, that means you're somewhere. So now it's time to level up. It's time to trust that you can do hard things and we all can do hard things. And that comfort zone is only going to get you so far. It's really going to keep you just kind of warm in this little hot tub where it's nice and cozy. But when you really want to elevate, you really want to push, you got to get a little uncomfortable. And you got to try new things. And it doesn't mean fads. It means really zero in on what it is that you truly want. So the question I like to pose to that person is, what is that person? Who is that person? Can you describe it? Can you understand what their habits are, their mindset is? And then what steps you need to take to fill in the gap from where you are to where you need to be? And in that gap is discomfort. But when you get super clear on the goal, super clear on what it takes, and I have a great resource to share if anybody wants it, of what it takes to go from changing your body from this
yes,
to
please share it, Christina.
I will, it's very me. It's very authentic. I didn't even create it, but I love it. And it's going to tell you to go from this to this. This is how you have to level up. So to that person, I'm just like, don't be afraid to level up. There is, as cliche as it sounds, there's way more on the other side of your comfort zone, and you're not going to die. You're going to just feel a little uncomfortable, and you're going to get after it.
I love it. Now tell us more about your motto, healthier today, happy tomorrow.
Oh man, when we were deciding a simple way to describe the website, It actually summarizes everything that I've been through and stuff that we talked about, a couple weeks back on our little pre-call with being healthy and doing hard things the way we talked about actually gives you the confidence to be happier because you're feeling confidence to make decisions. You're feeling content with what you're doing for yourself and you don't feel neglected. So I believe that health underpins everything else. How you show up in the world, how you are in relationships with people, how you go to work, how you feel confident asking for a raise, a promotion, all of these things. But if your health is crappy, if you don't feel so great, you're not going to show up well. And how can you really be happy in any one of those domains, whether it's money, job, relationships, family, self satisfaction? How can you be happy there if you just feel unhealthy? I feel like health underpins all that.
That's very true and very powerful. Thank you for sharing that with us, Christina. Now, Christina, tell us a little bit more about some of the challenges that you face in your life.
Wow. I feel like I said wow to everything. Okay. Let's cut that out. Some of the challenges are different. So, career challenges, for example, when we talked about some career challenges, I felt that this was really important to bring up. Career challenges for me showed up in this world of competition. When in my case, I got a new boss that came in and it was great the first couple of months. And then I started noticing I was getting demoted and people were starting to tell me, like, you really know what this is, right? There were things that are on other people's agendas. There's jealousy. There's a lot of stuff below the surface that you can't control in other people. How it affected me as a career challenge was like, wow, like I'm on my way. I'm at the best physical peak condition that I was in, best, most confident condition mentally that I was in. I was at the best part of my career, like really getting enough years under my belt with the same people to really produce positive changes. And now it's like, oh, you're being pushed out. That was a huge career challenge for me. And kind of like what I share with people when I go live on Instagram or just the story comes up was I had the courage to take a leap of faith to leave because I did those hard things. I overcame myself, my own limiting beliefs, got my body to a place where I felt unstoppable, and that infiltrated my mind. So going into a meeting, I felt that I was equipped to handle that challenge because I had confidence. And so it was a way for me to really link the hard work in the gym to something more meaningful than just what my body looked like. It was what it transformed my confidence to be, which ultimately got me to just say, okay, I see where this is going. I need to go elsewhere because I have another calling, and then take that leap of faith.
Very inspiring. What message do you have for someone currently going through the same thing who actually maybe they want to give up now?
The more my old boss would study leadership and bring it back to us, he was very, very much into John Maxwell and the John Maxwell Leadership Institute. And the things that I took away from some of his courses and books were really what true leadership is. And if you are considering growing in leadership, you're considering that you are a leader, but you're just not sure how to do that. I think that self mastery through those challenges is probably the best advice. Realizing that it's not about you. If someone is sabotaging you, always point the mirror back at yourself. How can I be better? But then realize whatever's going on, that's in their world. You can only control what you can control. So if you're going through some sort of struggle work wise with another person or a relationship that seems to be sabotaging you or just draining you, 9 times out of 10, it's more them than it is you. So having the confidence to say, how could I look at this objectively and as hard as it is, believe me, for me, it was difficult, remove the emotion and think clearly, okay, I can either choose to be upset, angry, whatever, every day and live in misery, or I can choose to try to separate the emotion, focus on the facts, and then realize I want to think clearly, what's my next step where I can achieve ultimate happiness?
I love it. And I love your attitude. Very powerful. Now, you are also a part of our upcoming Global Health and Wellness Conference on May 24th at 5 p.m. Eastern. What are some things that folks can expect when they join us for that conference?
I'm so excited for that conference. And what I would love to bring to the table is sharing how my journey in fitness wasn't easy. Being a fitness professional or a pro bodybuilder looks easy from the outside. Oh, must be nice. You must spend all these hours in the gym. But really, to elevate, you need to overcome life challenges as well. And to share with people that this is just something that fits into your life. how you see it fit and how you can make it work and how you can allow it to change you for the better. It's being able to share with other people in a more detailed way than just what we shared now, that it's way more powerful. It's way more than what you look like. It's way more than fearing what your blood work is, although those are powerful motivators. It's about tapping into your greatest potential and overcoming some of these hard things by developing yourself. And it's not just the physical, it's how do you develop yourself mentally, spiritually, in your relationships, and realizing that, for me at least, fitness was always the catalyst that opened the doors to other things. That was my gateway drug, so to speak. But perhaps your spirituality or your family can be a gateway for support, for example, to even start a fitness journey when you haven't expressed it. Maybe you need to have that hard conversation with someone. I'm not happy. Will you support me in change? So, what is the vehicle in your life? Is it your spirituality and having faith? Is it your spouse and having, a relationship that's supportive? Is it looking at your children and saying, I owe it to them to be healthy and show up happy for them? What is the catalyst that can get you to involve fitness so that can help you raise up even more areas in your life that you want to empower?
I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, to hear more from Christina in regards to health and wellness, make sure to join us on May 24th at 5 p.m. Eastern. Reserve your virtual seat via Eventbrite. And honored to have you as a speaker, Christina, as well as amazing speakers from all over the world, and also grateful for our sponsors. And if you're listening to this message today, make sure to bring a notebook and a pen, and we look forward to seeing you there. Now, Christina, where can the audience find you?
I'm very active on social media, probably to a fault. So just my name, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, at Christina Specos. And then just simply my email, if you need to email me something long or have some questions, it is Christina@ChristinaSpecos.com, and pretty much active all of those places. So you'll always hear back from me.
I love it. Christina, do you have any last words for the audience?
Sounds cliche to say this, but it's probably the most inspirational I could get in light of what we're talking about today, which is empowering yourself, is never give up. Never give up. There are times where I made decisions to take a step back, to reevaluate, and never feel bad about doing that, but never give up because it's just too hard or you just want to be lazy. Always reevaluate what fits in your life, what will enhance your life, and have the courage to make the unpopular decision, because if it benefits you, it's always the right decision. And if it's going to make you better and stronger, it's always the right decision.
Very powerful. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure to check out Christina on all of her social media platforms and her website and the email that she shared earlier. And Christina, thank you again for being a guest on the Walk With Me podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. This is so powerful, and I cannot wait for the conference.
Likewise. God bless you.